the television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're listening to Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and of course the ESPN MT app. My name is Hayden Smith, and I will be steering the boat for you today with Coulter Nuanez out for the weekend. Lots of great stuff for you still today. We're going to talk some playoff hockey with the regular season ending tonight and the playoffs starting on Saturday. We're also going to have Carolyn the Chica Doesn't Know Sports on, and then we're going to wrap it up with some Grizz rugby with head coach David Kenkel and Playden Aiden Schrader. But for now, playoff hockey starts on Saturday. Let's talk about it.
Well, I know there's one guy to my left that's really excited to get this rolling. It's time for some Stanley Cup hockey. And we got you covered here on 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana, the ESPN MT app. Maybe on our YouTube page as well. Stanley Cup playoffs are coming in the next couple of days, wrapping up the regular season on Thursday before the beginning of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Friday. I'm Jeff Safford, along with me is Hayden Smith, as we get ready to take a peek at some playoff hockey. Hayden, I know you've been chomping at the bit just to get on the mic and talk about this.
Oh, it's one of my favorite times of the year. It's so much fun. I think we have a great set of teams this year. I love seeing teams like Buffalo and Anaheim finally get in the mix here after 16 years for Buffalo and 8 years for Anaheim. But yeah, man, the weather's beautiful this time of year. I get to go golf, and then I get to watch playoff hockey in the afternoon, man. It's just a great time of year.
Yeah, I know with the little bit of an early start to the spring, it seems like everybody's been excited about temperatures in the 60s and 70s, getting a lot of time on the course, but still, awesome hockey to come. And this past weekend, shifting gears just a little bit, we've mentioned this before, you yourself, an athlete at the University of Montana, you played some lacrosse for Grizzlax, and Grizz Lacrosse just wrapped up the regular season at home with a win over Western Washington. Maybe give a few notes on Grizzlax. No, just ended up the regular season with a win over Western Washington. A good way to get the regular season closed up. You were up there with me in Washington Grizzly Stadium at that senior day. So what'd you see from the Grizz and what'd you like?
They're just a good team this year, man. They're obviously a very defensive-led team behind probably the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year in Joey Kortner with, speaking of hockey, nearly hockey statistics at goaltending right now, sitting at like crazy. 75 to 80%, which is ridiculous. But they're just a good team, man. They had a great regular season. I'm excited to see what they can do. Obviously, they had a tough one against College of Idaho going down in, was it overtime or double overtime? In double overtime, 10-9. So, I'm sure they're chomping at the bit to get a second go at them in just a week or two here. But yeah, man, they're just a solid team right now. It seems like the chemistry's good with the guys. They've got a great senior class, and they're just a good team. They're a fun team to watch right now.
Grizz Lacrosse ranked in the top 10 nationally in the MCLA, the Men's Collegiate Lacrosse Association, number 6 in the most current rankings. And they have some heavy lifting going forward in the next couple of weeks. They have the weekend off this week ahead of their conference tournament in the Seattle region, the weekend of the 23rd through the 25th. And you mentioned the College of Idaho, another top 10 ranked team. They actually just suffered their first loss of the regular season last week to Air Force. Still an opportunity for the Grizz to get a conference championship, and a conference championship would clinch a national tournament bid for the 5th season in a row.
Yeah, I just think the Grizz are in a good spot, right? Because we'll see what College of Idaho does. I don't think they're going to drop much, knowing where Air Force is in the rankings as well.
Yeah, top 5 team.
I just think Grizz are in a good spot, right? Like, they lose this game to College of Idaho in the conference championship. Obviously, I don't hope that to be the case, but I just don't see them dropping that much in the rankings regardless of how that game plays out. They really have only to gain at this point. So if they beat College of Idaho, they'll probably move up a spot. I'm not really sure where the Cats are going to be sitting there, but hopefully maybe just slightly above them, depending on how that all plays out. But it's only good for the Grizz. They're going to get in no matter what. There's no way they don't get the bid even if they lose this. So only to gain for the Grizz right now in this conference tournament. I think they should come in there with a lot of faith knowing that.
The National Championship Tournament comprises of 16 teams, with automatic qualifiers coming from conference tournament champions and then also at-large selections from a selection committee. So the Grizzlies in a good spot. Hayden mentioned the Montana State Bobcats also looks like they will be headed to the MCLA National Championship Tournament as well as a top 5 ranked team just ahead of Montana, number 4 in the rankings. They in a different conference of the Grizzlies. They will have to deal with Air Force. Seems like the Grizzlies, kind of on a collision course in that conference tournament.
Definitely.
Getting to the championship game with Air Force and Montana State getting locked in, and then the Yotes and the Grizzlies. Again, with conference lacrosse action coming next week, we'll maybe look ahead further to that in the coming days/weeks. But I know you're here for some hockey with the regular season. Recording this on a Wednesday, you'll hear this recording on a Friday. Actually, when you hear this...
On a Thursday.
On a Thursday, okay.
Yep.
But I guess thinking about it, regular season wrapping up for the NHL Thursday ahead of the playoffs. In the Eastern Conference, all of the matchups are chalk, but there's still a little bit of things to work out for the Western Conference. All of the playoff spots have been ironed out. Just some seedings just to get figured out on the Western Conference side of things.
Yeah, as McDavid aptly put it, the Pacific is a pillow fight right now, and it shows. I mean, you see Colorado at 119 points to lead the Central, and then the Pacific is led by the Vegas Golden Knights, who have lost more games than they have won. Now, I will say 17 overtime losses is insane. I don't know if I've ever seen that many, but regardless, you know, you have all three of those teams. The Ducks, I would say, are probably the only team that's probably not going to get to the top. But yeah, between Vegas and Edmonton, they're going to have that top seed. And quite frankly, playing against Utah, I don't know if that's necessarily where you want to be.
Utah has been a team that's been playing really pretty much its best hockey coming down the stretch of this regular season. I would compare them also to a team out east in the Philadelphia Flyers, who have been playing some of their best hockey after the Olympic break, really pushing towards the playoffs.
Yeah, the Flyers have looked great, man. They've got a good young team. I think they have a fun matchup in Pittsburgh. Obviously, kind of an old rivalry there with Sidney Crosby still sticking around there in Pittsburgh. But that's gonna be a fun series to watch. I don't have too many thoughts on that one quite yet. But yeah, I mean, I love seeing old school rivalries in the playoffs. I mean, those guys are gonna be banging and mashing like crazy.
In terms of the teams that we will see in the Stanley Cup playoffs, again, the matchups in the East have been confirmed. Still a few things to work out in the Western Conference, but the teams you will see in the Stanley Cup playoffs, starting out East, will be the Sabres and the Bruins, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens, Carolina Hurricanes and the Ottawa Senators, and Hayden mentioned it earlier, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. So the Battle of Pennsylvania. And those are the matchups as they will play out in the East. We'll get to those a little bit more in depth as we roll further here, talking some Stanley Cup hockey here on ESPN Missoula. Myself, Jeff Safford, and Hayden Smith. Out west, the other Stanley Cup playoff teams will be the Colorado Avalanche, the President Cup winners, top seed in the Western Conference, also the top record in the NHL this season in terms of points. Right now would go up against the LA Kings, but again, some things to work out, potentially. The Stars and the Wild, that matchup is confirmed. The lone matchup at this point that is lined up, can't change it in the Western Conference. That's going to be awesome. The Golden Knights, the Utah Mammoth, the Oilers, and the Anaheim Ducks are the other teams in the Western Conference. Always an interesting spot to be in at the end of a regular season. 82 games in the rear view, still plenty to look forward to in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but coming to the end of this regular season always is a little bit melancholic for different reasons, specifically for guys that are coming down to the end of their career if they will not be going forward in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And definitely a few guys come to mind for numerous different reasons. Is this the end for the kid Sidney Crosby? I guess he'll be in the Stanley Cup playoffs, so still some games to play for him either way. But guys like Jonathan Quick, couple time Stanley Cup champion with the LA Kings, he's ending his career, 40 plus years old. Have to think a Hall of Fame career for him.
Guaranteed Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest goalie in American history. Without question, he'll be a Hall of Famer. 829 games. I mean, he's got a ton of wins, 3 cups. I mean, if that's not a Stanley Cup or a Hall of Fame pedigree, I don't know what is for a goaltender.
So he's coming to the end, and maybe, we don't know yet. This one is definitely a little bit murky, but the all-time goal scorer in NHL history, Alex Ovechkin, may be coming to the end of his career. He has not made any decisions yet, and it seems like for folks that are close to him, they don't really have much of an idea either if what his plans are.
Yeah, I mean, when he decides to wrap it up, man, it's a tragedy for the game. Obviously, 1,000 goals, including the playoffs in his career, which is absolutely ridiculous. I kind of think he comes back for one more year. If you really watch the way that they were utilizing him, I mean, he had like 2 faceoffs in the defensive zone the entire season. The guy didn't really play defense. I still think he would be a viable option on the power play, even if he just sat in his spot and ripped 1-Ts for, the next 2 years. I think he'd still be a good option. I think when he doesn't score 30 goals in a season is the time that he wraps it up. He did that again this year, and I think he's got one more in him, Jeff. I really do.
One thing that's definitely clear with Alex Ovechkin, if you watch him play this season, is that, or if you watched him play, I should say, he's definitely still having fun out there. And, I mean, that's, to me, if you're looking for a guy coming towards the back nine of a career, you got to just see how he's interacting with his teammates, how he is in press conferences. And it's just clear that this guy still just loves being around, as they say in hockey, the boys.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't love hockey, just look up some videos of Ovechkin and Tom Wilson and John Carlson and those guys just having fun in the locker room pregame. I mean, they are just the biggest goofballs in the world.
Oh, it's a goon show.
Singing Bandzamaker Dance or whatever it is for the day. But yeah, I mean, he has a lot of fun playing, man. And it's kind of like Brent Burns for Colorado right now, man. These guys are just ageless wonders. They're 41, 42 years old, and they play like they're 18 still, man. And it's fun to watch, and I hope we get to see more of it.
Do you think that this is kind of a interesting spot for the game of hockey with players like Ovechkin and Jonathan Quick and these guys that have Sidney Crosby who've been around the league for so long, potentially stepping out of the door, and we have these young guys thinking about Macklin Celebrini? Is a little bit of a disappointment that he won't be part of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Sharks just falling short, San Jose, of a Stanley Cup playoff berth. But we have this young breadth of talent. Bedard, another name from out in Chicago that's been awesome in that even 18 to 20-year-old range. Do you think that this spot in hockey is in kind of like, don't want to say a period of flux, but kind of a passing of the torch?
Oh, I mean, for sure. I mean, we're seeing, all of the legends from the 2010s. I mean, Patrick Kane, another guy that is going to be, somewhere in the mix there. Jonathan Toews, he's another superstar that's probably nearing the end of his career playing for his hometown team in Winnipeg right now. Totally, man. I mean, we're talking 8 to 10 Hall of Famers that are all, retiring within the next couple seasons. And, you have guys like Macklin Celebrini who, he didn't make the playoffs, but had over 100 points at 18, 19 years old. And, man, does that dude have a heck of a career ahead of him, I'm sure.
Talking some NHL hockey, Hayden Smith and Jeff Safford getting you ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs that begin on Saturday. Definitely will have some Stanley Cup talk throughout the course of those playoffs leading through June. Maybe incorporate Grizz hockey into it somehow. I have to ask maybe some players and coaches if they want to jump on the mic with us to talk some puck. And thinking Grizz hockey just briefly, they've been signing a few guys I've seen on their Instagram page that they've added some new players to the roster, so exciting that Grizz hockey potentially will be building further into the future. But ending the regular season, touching on a few guys potentially walking out the door, do you have some favorite moments or games specifically from the 82 games that we've just seen?
That's a great question. I think as an Avalanche homer, watching us beat Edmonton 9-1 a couple months ago was incredible. Just to witness that, watching McDavid and Draisaitl, I mean, a team that's obviously been to 2 straight Stanley Cup Finals for good reason. They're incredible players. Just seeing the Avs blow the doors off of them was a lot of fun to watch as a fan of that team. Another one, and this is a team I'm really excited to watch, is Buffalo. Obviously, you don't know. Montreal and Boston are both good teams, but, man, to see a collision course between Buffalo and Tampa the way that they've been playing in the regular season, just beating the crap out of each other, would that not be a fun series to watch? Oh my goodness. But yeah, that Buffalo-Tampa game, I can't even remember what the score of it was. I mean, I think it was a higher scoring game, but gong show. And that's what I want to see. I want to see 6 or 7 absolute gong show games between those two teams. And that Buffalo team's a lot of fun to watch right now.
And that's really how I think in a lot of ways you can cultivate a more neutral audience as well, thinking about people that maybe aren't hockey nuts. If you get games like that, it's going to draw, it doesn't matter what sports you like. That just sounds awesome, watching guys drop the gloves and have these high-scoring games that are just crazy. Hopefully we see that throughout the course of the playoffs. Another game I wanted to bring up was an outdoor game featuring the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Boston Bruins. This thing in January was just, as Hayden says, I don't think I could come up with a better adjective for it. I mean, this thing had everything. Had the Bruins erasing a 3-goal deficit. It had a goalie fight. It had overtime. It had a shootout. It had great sweaters. Heck, it was even colder in Tampa Bay than it was up here in the Treasure State of Montana, so it even fit the bill for an outdoor game. Temperatures in Tampa in the 30s. It gets that cold there? Apparently so. But I guess action kept things heated up in what would be a shootout win for the Boston Bruins. So wrapping up the regular season, always have to think awards for end-of-season sort of conversations. Who are some of your, I guess you could say, favorites for MVP and those sorts of things?
I think it's a really tough year this year to decide. I think at the beginning of the year, it looked like Nathan MacKinnon was running away with the Hart Trophy. However, I don't necessarily know if that's the case, which is crazy to say, even though he has, a career lead in goals, I think, with 53 on the season, getting one more last night. But I got to go with Nikita Kucherov, man. I mean, he has just been absolutely fantastic this year for the Hart Trophy, I should say. If they give it to McDavid, I'll completely understand. He's still the greatest player in the world right now, but just the Hart Trophy is about who's the most valuable player to your team, and I think Nikita Kucherov fits the bill this year. And I think he would probably have more of them if he was not a Russian player, to be honest with you. I think if he was a Canadian player, I think he would be considered differently when it comes to this award more often. But yes, I think this year for me, it's got to be Nikita Kucherov. For the Vezina, I'm going to lean another Tampa Bay guy. I'm going to go with Andrei Vasilevsky. I think that team's been fantastic. I know that Colorado goaltenders have both been very good. I just don't think they've played enough games really truly being a tandem between what we've been calling them is the lumberyard for Colorado. For the Norris, I think this is the hardest one. I think I'm going to lean on Zach Werenski for Columbus. He's been so good for that team the last couple years. Quinn Hughes and Rasmus Dahlin for Buffalo, I think they're in contention as well. I think Cale Makar is not this year. It's crazy to say he's over a point per game this entire season still, but I just don't think he's necessarily had the wow factor that he's had in the past. Obviously, he had 30 goals last year. I think he's maybe at 20 this season. But I'm going to go with Zach Werenski, and then the Calder is the easiest one in the world. If it's not Matthew Schaefer, I don't know what anyone's doing this year. I mean, he's clearly the best rookie, leading in points by I think 20 or 30 on Demidov right now as a defenseman. He's, I believe, the youngest defenseman in the history to score 20 goals. He's just absolutely fantastic. Talking about another guy, in the proverbial passing of the torch with Celebrini, I think there's no question that he's in the mix there as well. He's going to have a great career. But yeah, and then the Selke, I'm going to have to go with Nick Suzuki. He's kind of an underrated player. Where it's going to be fun to see him playing in the playoffs this year. But what a great two-way guy. I mean, there's a reason why he was on that Olympic team, and he's just a fantastic player. Does everything, man.
Well, there you have it. Some looks at some potential award winners in the NHL as we get ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs here on ESPN Missoula. Let's start out west. Still some things to get figured out in terms of where teams will be seated. We mentioned earlier that the 8 teams in the Western Conference playoffs have been confirmed. Just a few things to iron out in the last couple of regular season games. But we can go through the teams in the Western Conference and the matchups where we potentially could see them and just give you a little bit of a preview of where these teams are at. We'll start up at the top. We mentioned the President's Cup trophy winners 100 and potentially 20 points for the Colorado Avalanche, and they have just been a monster all season long. Offensively, led by Nathan MacKinnon, just an awesome team. Balanced. Mentioned the goaltending's been good. Looks like the best chances that they'll be facing off with the LA Kings. McKinnon and the Avalanche have to think that regardless of who their opponent is in the first round, that they're just going to steamroll whoever it is.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say I'm so sorry to LA Kings fans because they have had to deal with Edmonton for multiple years in a row with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Would it be 5 in a row this year if that?
It would have been. And now, Jeff, they have the pleasure of playing Colorado, which I'm sure they are incredibly excited for. There's probably a bit of juice there. I mean, Kopitar is nearing the end of his career, and I think the guys are going to play hard for him. I think that was a great message he had in his last home game. I mean, he is obviously in tears. Certainly a Hall of Famer when he wraps it up as well. Multiple cup wins. But the Colorado Avalanche is truly an avalanche this year. And when you're looking at a team that has the most goals for in the league, the least goals against in the league, the third best penalty kill in the league, the best goaltender save percentages in the league, the only real hiccup for them right now is the power play, which is really fascinating just seeing how many superstars they have on the team. I mean, you have Marty Necas, who has 100 points. They have 200-point scorers. They have
Makar,
arguably the greatest defenseman in the league. They have, Gabe Landeskog. They have Valerian Nichushkin. They have so many great players. It's just interesting. You add Nazem Kadri to the mix. I think they figure it out in the playoffs. I really do. Maybe I'm just being hopeful, being a fan of that team. But there's no way the Kings get through this series, in my opinion. I think, And
I think the Avs have had a little bit better stretch ending it out in the regular season on power plays. Yeah,
they have. Adding Kadri helped a lot. Obviously, he broke a finger, which, kind of funny enough, that's exactly the injury that he had last year going into our Cup run in 2022. But yeah, I mean, that team is an absolute wagon. There's a reason why they have 119 points and have the most wins in the NHL over the last, many, many seasons. And they have a lot of playoff experience. I know Marty Necas is probably pretty excited to get another go at it. McKinnon's an absolute machine, and they're going to be ready to go. And in LA Kings, you better watch out because this is going to be a tough one for you, I think.
Speaking of the Kings, a lot of things still trying to figure out with their seeding, but the other team that could potentially face off other than the Kings in that series against Colorado, thinking Southern California won't have to go too far. Congratulations to the Anaheim Ducks. I believe 14 seasons, a playoff drought for them before making it this year. Ducks, a young team, really came out firing in the regular season, hit a slump about halfway through the regular season, and then were able to right the ship to get themselves into the playoffs. Whenever you see a team in this sort of a position, haven't been to the playoffs for a long time, it's exciting. And also when you see a young team in the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's fun. If it is a matchup with the Colorado Avalanche, obviously we don't know if it will, where would the Ducks be a tougher opponent than the Kings?
I just think they have more talent right now. You grab John Carlson from the Capitals. We saw Ovechkin, how emotional he was about that, being his teammate for, I think, around 15 years. They got Cutter Gauthier, and he's got a 40-goal season. I'm sure that the Flyers are probably kicking themselves a little bit for getting rid of him early. Leo Carlsson, he's another absolutely stud young talent that's kind of up and coming in the league. This guy's been in the news a lot, Radko Gudas, for being kind of a goon, I would say. We saw him taking out, and I'm not going to say take out. Who knows the intent of this? Obviously, he's just a hard-hitting, hard-playing defenseman. But, you see the captains of both Olympic teams getting taken out by the same player in Sidney Crosby and Austin Matthews. He's definitely a guy that's going to be playing incredibly physical, and guys are going to be keeping an eye out for him. Chris Kreider's another guy that they have picked up from the New York Rangers last year. Bennett Seneke, I mean, he's a great young rookie. Troy Terry, he's been around for a couple years. Jackson Lacombe, I mean, he's a great young defenseman. They just have a good team, man, and I think they're hungry. And that's why I think they're a little bit scarier right now than the Kings are, in my opinion, for a matchup against Colorado.
The two opponents potentially for the Ducks, the Edmonton Oilers or the aforementioned Avalanche. The one matchup in the West that we do know is confirmed is maybe the juiciest. thinking about the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild, two of really the three better teams in the NHL. Both teams were at or above 100 points in the regular season, with Dallas being the top team or really chasing the Colorado Avalanche for large chunks of the season. Dallas at 110 points, Minnesota at 104. Both teams a lot of talent offensively. You mentioned Quinn Hughes on the defensive side for the Wild, another awesome player for Minnesota. Got a chance to see them live in person while on the road with Grizz Lacrosse this season. A real fun team, a real wild environment there in St. Paul as well. This series, for a lot of reasons, for a first-round matchup, it feels like something you could get even for a Western Conference final.
Oh, for sure, man. And obviously, we could have the conversation about how the playoff seeding should be. Do we really want to see two top 7 teams playing in the first round of the playoffs? Probably not. But either way, this is the collision course that they're on. Dallas, I think, is a bit of question marks right now. Obviously, losing Miro Heiskanen, who is their bona fide top defenseman without question. Guy plays 25 to 28 minutes a night, and another offensive guy that they have in Rope Hintz. So, is that enough for Minnesota? I still think Dallas is a better team. I mean, obviously they got Jason Robertson and they have an incredible goaltender in Ottinger, but Minnesota's good, man. I mean, they've got some great goaltending. Wallsted's been fantastic. I mean, Kirill Kaprizov is an absolute superstar in this league. You talked about Quinn Hughes. I mean, he's one of the greatest defensemen in the entire league right now. That's going to be a juicy matchup. And as an Avs fan, I really hope that game goes to 7, or that series goes to 7, and they beat the crap out of each other. I anticipate no less. And man, that's, for me, in terms of like the juiciest first round matchups, that's easily the one right now. Just looking at how many superstars are going to be playing. Obviously, Mikko Rantanen's on that team as well. Just a great matchup, man. I'm excited to see how that one plays out. And I'm going to lean towards Dallas for that, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if Minnesota won that series.
Yeah, that's how I see it as well. It's one of those types of series that you just expect it to go 6 or 7 games. I'm also leaning a bit towards the Dallas Stars, just thinking about Dallas getting a bit further down the road in playoff series of years past over the Wilds. But again, you never know, especially if Minnesota is able early in that series to steal a game on the road in Dallas before going home to home ice. I mentioned that barn in St. Paul is going to be rocking, and it will be a tough place for anybody to go win a hockey game. So if they can get a win there on the road and get that home ice back, maybe Minnesota can pull an upset. We'll take a look at some of the final matchups potentially out west and give you a full preview of the Eastern Conference and the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Mention that it is chalk in the East. We know all the matchups. Hayden Smith and Jeff Safford talking hockey on 102.9 ESPN Radio. We'll be back with more Stanley Cup playoff talk after this.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the uniquely designed and well-equipped 2024 Buick Encore GX with models starting at $28,895. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to demorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Encores and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
It's easy to see why Montana is the treasure state. At the University of Montana, we look inside. We see an old truth with fresh eyes, that Montana's greatest treasure is its people. So whatever tomorrow brings, we meet it the only way we know how, with a mind for making. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Former Montana Gatorade Player of the Year, Brianna Williams, is going to the Cats. The Arizona Wildcats, that is. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Williams, who etched out one of the great resumes in Montana girls prep basketball history by leading Billings Skyview to their first 2 ever Class AA state championships, has spent the last 2 seasons at the University of Maryland. The former top 50 ranked recruit in the nation entered the NCAA transfer portal earlier this month because of her ties to the Magic City and the fact that she played on a national championship AAU team with other girls from around Montana. Many wondered if Williams might return to the Treasure State to play at Montana State or Montana. While the Lady Grizz and the Bobcats did recruit Williams hard, she ended up choosing Arizona. She announced her decision on her personal Instagram on Tuesday. Last season at Maryland, the 6'2" forward averaged 4.7 points and 2.8 rebounds per game while shooting 48.6% from the floor in 10.5 minutes per contest across 24 games. Williams joins an Arizona team that finished 12-18 last year, including a 3-15 record in Big 12 play to tie for 14th in the conference. During her prep days, Williams scored 1,645 points and ripped out 879 rebounds, leading Skyview to state titles as a sophomore and a senior, and earning Montana Gatorade Player of the Year twice in the process. The transfer portal for Division I women's basketball opened on Monday, April 6th and goes through Monday, April 20th.
It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
We're back here on 102.9 ESPN Radio, Nuanez Now. We're looking ahead towards the Stanley Cup playoffs. Hayden Smith, see him a lot behind the glass, and with me, Jeff Safford, the hockey aficionados, with you here on a Thursday afternoon. We looked at a lot of the matchups or potentially the matchups in the Western Conference. We'll take a peek at the last few teams in those Western Conference playoffs in the Stanley Cup. Again, the matchups haven't quite been confirmed yet with the regular season wrapping up, recording this on a Wednesday, wrapping up on Thursday night. But the last couple teams we didn't get to in that first segment, a team brand new to the NHL in its second season in existence. First time in the Stanley Cup playoffs from out there in the Beehive State, the Utah Mammoth. They are locked in to the first Western Conference spot. They could face either the Vegas Golden Knights or the Edmonton Oilers. The Mammoth, a team that really has been playing, as we mentioned in that first segment, playing some of its best hockey coming down the stretch.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, they're a brand new team, right? But I think the beauty of this team is that, they kept a roster. So they kept team chemistry. Clayton Keller is probably one of the most underrated players in the entire league. A lot of people may not even know who he was, and then all of a sudden he was on, the USA Olympic roster. That probably, if that doesn't put people on notice to the game that he has, he's a great two-way player. I don't know what does. Logan Cooley's a great player. Nick Schmaltz, Dylan Genther. JJ Peterka, grabbed him from Buffalo last year. They're just a good team, man. Brandon Tanev, he brings a little bit of grit. Kyler Yamamoto, he's a guy I love to bring up. He's a Spokane native. So there is a little... obviously not Montana, but closer roots to the area here. But they're just a good fun team. They play really hard. They have youth on their side, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do. If I was Vegas, Edmonton, or Anaheim, that's honestly a team I would not want to play in the first round right now. They're just like you said. They're playing great right now, and this is the time to get going.
Two teams I could potentially see. The Edmonton Oilers trying to make it towards their third consecutive Stanley Cup final, they've fallen to the Florida Panthers the last 2 years. They won't have to worry about the Panthers this year, as they did not qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs with a lot of injury issues out there for the Panthers. But they could potentially see the Oilers, thinking about the Mammoth, or the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Golden Knights, that's really an interesting one for me, because they have a lot of big names on the roster, guys you're familiar with from their Stanley Cup run not all that many years back.
They won like 3 years ago.
2023.
Yeah.
But coming to the end of the year, they've been kind of a team that was underperforming all season long, and then surprisingly, in the last couple of weeks, they fire their head coach and add someone in John Tortorella. If you're a hockey guy, you know Tortorella quite well, having bounced around to different places. He has a reputation for being a real hard you-know-what, but we'll see what happens, how it plays out with Tortorella now on the bench.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think of the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, like you said, they're only a few years separated from winning a Stanley Cup. I mean, they add Mitch Marner in the offseason, obviously a pure superstar in terms of offensive talent, also a little bit underrated on the defensive side, I think. I mean, you have Jack Eichel. Mark Stone is, one of the best two-way players in the entire league. Thomas Hertl, he was a great pickup from the San Jose Sharks. I mean, they're a great team, man. And I just think they've underperformed this year, which is why you see a change in the head coach. I don't think John Tortorella is really coming in there to mix everything up, right? He's not going to be changing the structure that they're playing with or anything like that. I think he's just coming in there just like, we need to play with some more grit. We need to play a little bit tougher, and we can see how this all plays out. And I think 17 overtime losses is a weird stat, right? Because, I mean, I'd have to look more into what that actually says to me, but for me, that says that they're in a lot of close games, and who knows if they're up by a goal going into the end of the game, and they just can't figure out a way to close those ones out and get the 2 points, and then, find a way to lose at the end of those games. And, 17 overtime losses means you gave up 17 points on the board at a minimum. So, they haven't performed at the highest, and, they do have a lot of guys that when the light shines, they play well, and I think that's how you should be in Vegas, because the lights are always shining there. And there's a lot of pressure on that team right now. This is the only year they've ever had a losing record, and they're still in the playoffs. So they've had a ton of success, 7 straight winning seasons since they came into the league. And they're still going to be interesting to watch in the playoffs, and they definitely could turn it on when they need it. But I don't know, man. Tortorella is just such an interesting pickup at head coach for me. He just doesn't, to me, seem like he fits in on that team very well. But what do I know, man? I mean, he's obviously been around for a long time, got a lot of opportunities, and he was a part of those Olympic teams as well, being a coach. I believe he was the Four Nations coach as well. So yeah, he's got a lot to give still, and I'm going to be curious to see what he can get out of that team.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Four Nations there right at the end, and that was, to me, the big key as to potentially the why, as to why he was added to this team, as he was able to work with numerous players now on the Golden Knights at the Four Nations face-off that they're a part of Team USA. He was able to potentially develop a relationship with those guys, and I just find it hard to believe that Vegas would go out and make this move if they didn't go back to some of those players and say, hey, what do you think about adding in Tortorella? Do you think that this would be a type of move that could flip this thing around? I just find it hard to believe.
And you have Jack Eichel and Mark Stone, on those Olympic teams, Jack Eichel being on the USA side, and I'm sure he probably had a lot of good things to say. I mean, he's certainly a leader in that locker room, and I'm sure he has a little bit of sway, and that's the direction they went. So I'm curious to see how it plays out for them.
So it will definitely be an interesting Western Conference playoffs. Definitely some favorites. Have to think that the Colorado Avalanche have to be the favorites going into the West to advance to the Stanley Cup playoffs, or the Stanley Cup final, beg your pardon. But it will definitely be an interesting playoff bracket to watch. Out east, we know what all the matchups are, some things to figure out in the West. So let's go down the list of all the Eastern Conference first-round matchups that we'll see, and maybe some storylines for each matchup. We'll start with the new kids on the block. I believe it's been 16 years since the Buffalo Sabres have made it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are in there this year. Now it's on the New York Jets from over in Jersey. They still call themselves the New York Jets, but they play in New Jersey. Now on the JETS Jets as the longest playoff drought in American professional sports. But the Sabres, they will take on a team that routinely is in the Stanley Cup playoffs in the Boston Bruins. And I think that's going to be an awesome matchup with those two contrasting fan bases. Buffalo, they love their Sabres, as do the Boston Bruins. They're on the Charles River in the TD Garden. You have all the experience in the playoff with players like Pasternak over in Boston that have been in all these wars in the last few years. And the Sabres, they don't have anything to go on in terms of playoff experience in the past for their franchise. So kind of trying to cross over and see success in the playoffs. And for that reason, I think it's a great matchup, and two rival franchises as well.
No, for sure. And yeah, the Boston Bruins certainly have had a lot of playoff success, but this is not the Boston Bruins that we've been seeing the last couple of years. I mean, they have Pasternak, they have Charlie McAvoy, who've been around for a little while. Jeremy Swayman, I know they've had for many years. But besides that, I mean, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of playoff experience. So I think that's going to be an interesting look at all of this. Obviously, Pasternak is clearly a superstar, one of the best goal scorers in the entire league, but you got to have guys to get you the puck. Charlie McAvoy has had, oh my gosh, what a year he's had. I mean, the guy can't catch a break. He's probably lost every tooth in his entire mouth this year, Jeff. Got his jaw broken in half not too long ago. If anyone watches the Spit and Chicklets, you can see the episode with him where he literally talks about spitting out all of his chiclets, taking a puck to the mouth a couple months ago.
That's not a hockey guy. I don't know what.
Oh my gosh, he was back soon too, Jeff. I mean, what a psychopath that dude is. I don't know. I don't know what I think about Boston. They've got a really young kind of new team led by some of the veteran players that they've had, kind of like you mentioned. But you know, in terms of having true playoff experience, I just don't think they're necessarily there yet. But Buffalo is certainly not even close. I mean, like you said, being the first time that they've been there in many, many years. However, you know, Tage Thompson, he has got a lot of experience in big moments. He was on that Olympic team. He was also on the World Championship team for the USA, and he scored the OT game winner when it was 0-0 until that point. So, I mean, he's proven that he can step up in big moments. Rasmus Dahlin, he's a fantastic defenseman. He's had an interesting year as well. His wife had a heart transplant, so I think he had a lot of stuff on his mind. She's finally back in the United States with him, so I'm sure that probably takes a lot off his plate, and he can just play hockey. Josh Doan, he's a fun player. He's Shane Doan's son. He's been great this year. I'm sure he's really looking forward to some playoff action. Alex Tuck, I mean, that guy was on Vegas Golden Knights. He has a lot of experience in the playoffs. He's probably the guy in the locker room kind of getting the guys going, knowing kind of what the moment really looks like. And man, do they just play hard and physical. And I mean, that's just a fun team to watch right now. For a team that hadn't made the playoffs in many years, to win the Atlantic Division, I think is a heck of an achievement for them. I think they can definitely hang their heads high going into the playoffs, and there's no doubt that they're going to be the favorites on the Boston Bruins in this series.
That really is a fun storyline, just thinking about that franchise not having been in the playoffs for so long. The Anaheim Ducks in the other bracket in the same category, but Sabres, not only that, they're the favorites to move on in that first-round series. I would agree with Hayden. I see Buffalo really having a relatively, I don't want to say easy time, but I see it being a chance for Buffalo to maybe win this thing in 5 or 6 games. Another matchup, this one, interesting for a lot of different reasons. I mean, in terms of talent on both of these rosters, man, it's tough to find one that has much more. Maybe the other matchup I could think of that would maybe match it would be the Wild and Stars series. But thinking about the Montreal Canadiens facing off with the Tampa Bay Lightning, this series, this has got everything.
This is, I said that the Dallas and Minnesota series is my favorite. This one is a close second for me, just because, like you said, how many superstars they have. I mentioned Kucherov and Vasilevsky at the beginning of the first segment. I mean, absolutely true superstars. I mean, multiple cup winners. We talked about Vegas being not too separated from Stanley Cups. This team won 2 Stanley Cups back to back, and they went to a third before Colorado beat them. So, I mean, and they have a lot of those guys still around. I mean, Braden Point's a fantastic player. Jake Gensel's incredible. Nikita Kucherov consistently has over 120 points. Yanni Gourde's been fantastic for them. Corey Perry, Jeff, and what we know what Corey Perry's been doing the last couple of years. He's been getting to the finals, so I don't know if that's kind of a weird like little hockey deal there, but it'd be fun to see Corey Perry get back there and see an Avalanche Lightning rematch in the Stanley Cup final. But the Canadians on their side, I mean, Wisconsin boy Cole Caulfield, 52 goals in the year. What an absolutely ridiculous achievement for him to get to 50 goals. We talked about Nick Suzuki for the Selke. I mean, he's one of the best two-way players in the league. I mean, I think he's around 90 points this year while being a great defensive player. Lane Hudson, another guy talking about the proverbial passing of the torch. Fantastic young defenseman. I mean, that guy can just absolutely fly around. Ivan Demidov, he's a great young rookie that they have that's playing great. They have a fun team, man. And fun doesn't necessarily mean win. I think when we're talking about teams that don't have playoff experience versus teams that do, I think this is a better example of that than Buffalo versus Boston. I mean, Tampa's been there and done it many, many times. The Canadians have not. I think Tampa, gets away with this one probably in 6 or 7 games, but I do think the Canadians are, going to make a push for it. I just don't think that I just don't think they have it in them quite yet this year. I just don't think they have the experience.
I definitely see this one as the matchup between the Wild and Dallas being, as Peyton said it, another one of those 6 or 7 game series. Is another, I mentioned this, another equal, thinking about the Wild's barn, that arena up there north of the border in Montreal. That place is, if it's not the wackiest barn in the NHL, I don't know which one is. I mean, you got English and French being spoken in the arena. You have all this chirping going on, and with the whistling and the singing and everything else. Stanley Cup hockey in that barn is going to be awesome. But I think sometimes talent and experience wins over, and goaltending. I definitely think that the Lightning have an edge there as well.
Hall of Fame goalie, certainly.
Yeah. So I think the Lightning able to get a win there in 6 or 7 in that first round playoff series. Moving along, another rivalry in the Eastern Conference. How about a battle for Pennsylvania? Thinking the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers, another team that haven't been to the Stanley Cup playoffs in quite some time. This matchup, a rivalry in the state of Pennsylvania. 2 contrasting fan bases, very passionate on both sides. You got one of the all-time greats in Sidney Crosby for Pittsburgh. A lot of things to like in this series, and another series that might come down to 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I would agree. I believe, and I don't know this for certain, but I think they're tied in points in the standings right now. So I just think that gives you a really good example of just how close that they really are. But once again, man, I mean, it's 2 teams. One team has tremendous amounts of playoff experience. You talked about Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin. I mean, he's been around forever. Chris Letang, he's been around forever. Erik Karlsson, that was kind of a sneaky little pickup that Dubas picked up before he actually got fired. Brian Rust, he's another great player. I do have some goaltending questions for the Penguins. Obviously, they picked up Stuart Skinner. He's been decent. He's certainly been better than Tristan Jarry has been for the Edmonton Oilers. But I think just a change of scenery, I think, is sometimes good for goalies. And, once again, the playoff experience, I think, makes a huge difference. And looking at the Flyers, I mean, they don't really have any of it. I mean, it's fun to see Trevor Zegras finally get his chance at the playoffs after having a tumultuous kind of ending with his prior team in Anaheim. That was part of the Cutter-Gauthier trade, which really worked out for them, having a guy that scored 40 goals this year. But, I mean, they got good players. Travis Konechny, Owen Tippett, I think he's kind of a weirdly underrated player. Michkov, he's a great young player. I think a little bit more one-dimensional than I think that they would hope for. But Sidney Crosby, man, I mean, he's just an ageless wonder. He continues to score over a point per game for his career and for this season again. They just have so much experience. They've been here and they've done it. And I think the Penguins get through this one.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
What do you expect me to say to her? She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John?
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Former Montana Gatorade Player of the Year, Brianna Williams, is going to the Cats. The Arizona Wildcats, that is. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Williams, who etched out one of the great resumes in Montana girls prep basketball history by leading Billings Skyview to their first two ever Class AA state championships, has spent the last 2 seasons at the University of Maryland. The former top 50 ranked recruit in the nation entered the NCAA transfer portal earlier this month because of her ties to the Magic City and the fact that she played on a national championship AAU team with other girls from around Montana. Many wondered if Williams might return to the Treasure State to play at Montana State or Montana. While the Lady Grizz and the Bobcats did recruit Williams hard, she ended up choosing Arizona. She announced her decision on her personal Instagram on Tuesday. Last season at Maryland, the 6'2" forward averaged 4.7 points and 2.8 rebounds per game while shooting 48.6% from the floor in 10.5 minutes per contest across 24 games. Williams joins an Arizona team that finished 12-18 last year, including a 3-15 record in Big 12 play to tie for 14th in the conference. During her prep days, Williams scored 1,645 points and ripped out 879 rebounds, leading Skyview to state titles as a sophomore and a senior, and earning Montana Gatorade Player of the Year twice in the process. The transfer portal for Division I women's basketball opened on Monday, April 6th and goes through Monday, April 20th.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Pittsburgh Penguins and Philadelphia Flyers talking some NHL Stanley Cup hockey here on ESPN Missoula. Hayden Smith and myself, Jeff Safford, have to think that I think this series will come down to 6 or 7 games, similar to the themes from that series with the Canadiens and the Lightning. I think experience wins over for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And however far the Pens go on this playoff push, it'll be interesting to see how Sidney Crosby goes as well. From my perspective, a lot of question marks for him after this season. Is this the final go for Sid the Kid? Will he be able to turn his game up to that level of greatness in this playoff run? Could potentially push the Penguins past where they think a lot of folks could think where they could go.
I question how healthy he is. I mean, after the Olympics, he missed, at least a month before he came back, and he's certainly not a guy that's known for missing hockey, especially Olympic gold medal hockey, which if you know the history of Sidney Crosby, he has the golden goal, one of the greatest goals in Canadian history in terms of winning an Olympic gold medal. So the guy's a pure gamer in those moments, and for him not to be able to go in that moment definitely indicates to me that he had a pretty serious injury. So 41 years old, he is Sidney Crosby, but age does catch up with you eventually, and I just hope it's not quite yet, and he has got a little bit more magic in him.
In the last matchup in the Eastern Conference playoffs, the one with links to the Treasure State, thinking about the Ottawa Senators taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Of course, Jake Sanderson, the Whitefish native, a member of Team USA's gold medal winning hockey team from this past February, star defenseman for the Ottawa Senators, along with Brady Tkachuk, another member of that Team USA team, a guy I love to watch play hockey. Mentioned the Panthers not a part of the playoffs, but the Tkachuks will be out there, and if a Tkachuk is on the ice, you had better believe that he's going to be chucking some punches.
This is going to be, I said gong show earlier. Both of these teams are chaos. I love seeing that Brady Tkachuk finally has the opportunity to play in a playoff series. He is certainly a guy built for that moment. He's a huge body, great skill guy, obviously the captain of that team. I know he's been chomping at the bit. When you watch your brother win 2 Stanley Cups in a row, I'm sure that probably is hard to swallow for him, and I'm sure that he is about as hungry as it gets to get going. You mentioned Jake Sanderson, Little Sullivan Award candidate here in Montana as well, Whitefish native. It's going to be really, really fun to see him have his debut in the playoffs. They got great players, man. Drake Batherson's great. Linus Ullmark, he's been good. Timmy Stützle, he's been kind of interesting this year, but he's still a fantastic player. But they've got a great roster, man. Not a lot of a playoff experience though, right? And the Carolina Hurricanes, they have a little bit more of that. Led by Seth Jarvis and Logan Stankoven. They got some great players. Jordan Staal, he's been around for a very long time. I don't even know how old he is. He's got to be over 40 years old. Taylor Hall, he's a great player, prior MVP winner. He's got a lot left in the tank, I think. Ehlers, they picked him up from Winnipeg last year. Winnipeg had a weird year. Obviously, you can't attribute that to a single player. I do think that them losing Ehlers was a huge component to that. Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, they just got a lot of really good players, and they've been really close the last few years, and I've been really high on Carolina Hurricanes. I think Rod Brindamore is one of the best coaches in the league. The guy is just an absolute player coach. He's more ripped than some of his own players are. If you watch some of the videos of him in the locker room, the guy is just absolutely juiced, still got it. The Carolina Hurricanes are a fun team. I just think they're a deeper team in terms of the overall depth. I think they have a little bit better defense as a whole. I do think that Jake Sanderson probably the best defenseman in this series, but I think Carolina Hurricanes, sorry Tkachuk, I think the Carolina Hurricanes get away with this in probably 6 or 7 games.
Well, sir, sounds like we're going to see a lot of tight matchups in the Eastern Conference. I think the only series that we didn't anticipate going 6 or 7 games was that thinking about looked like, yes, potentially maybe the Sabres and the Bruins, but overall should be an awesome first round. The one thing with the Hurricanes that worries me a bit is just the little bit of a black cloud that hangs over that franchise. It seems like the Hurricanes, we've seen this story before with them being one of the top-ranked teams in the conference. They're at the top of the East once again, and then they get to the playoffs, and then they hit a wall where they can't get over that hump to get through the playoffs. Will this be the year where they make a run potentially towards the Eastern Conference Final and the Stanley Cup Final, we'll have to wait and see, because doesn't matter how it plays out. If you're any of these teams in the East, you got to look at it as, hey, with the Florida Panthers down, they've been to the Stanley Cup playoffs the last 3 years. You know it's going to be somebody new. It's anybody's game. So it should be a real fun tournament to watch in the East and West, thinking about the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll talk plenty about it through the coming months. Hayden Smith and Jeff Safford get into it here on ESPN Missoula, giving you a playoff preview. Hayden, who do you got for the Stanley Cup Final in terms of a matchup?
Like I was saying earlier, I think it's going to be Colorado and Tampa Bay. I just think that it's two teams that have tons of playoff experience. I think they're playing great right now. They have a lot of really good superstars on both of those teams, and McKinnon and Kucherov in particular. And I just think that those are just, they got great goaltending. They both have all of it. I think they just have such tremendous depth. And the fact that they have the experience, I think that that's really, for me, I think that's going to be where it goes, is Colorado and Tampa Bay for a 2022 Stanley Cup rematch.
Well, for me, there's no reason not to like the President Cup Trophy winners in the Colorado Avalanche. All the talent in the world.
Got to break the curse. Got to break the curse of the President's Trophy.
The team, I think, that's going to be headed from the West, like the pick with the Lightning. He's been so close the last few seasons. This might be his last rush with it with Edmonton. We don't know. But I think this is the year that they get it done. The Edmonton Oilers, for the third year in a row, make it through the West, and they're going to be your Stanley Cup champions. Why? Because Connor McDavid says so. Jeff Safford and Hayden Smith talking hockey. We'll see how it plays out in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Nuanez Now rolls on further after this.
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller & Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller & Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the exceptionally designed 2024 Buick Envision with models starting at $39,795. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to DeMorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Envisions and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
Life's about the journey, not the destination, right? Why can't it be about both?
ESPNRadio.com.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana. KKVU HD3 Stevensville and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
So you guys have been talking about looks maxing.
Yeah.
What is this?
I guess it's like guys trying to like look their hottest or something.
Just guys.
I don't know. There's this guy influencer who's like 20, and I just heard about him yesterday, and he like hits his face with a hammer to make his bones sharper.
Man.
Or something. And
his bones sharper.
I don't know. And then I talked to my 16-year-old about this morning, and he was like, yeah, what's a big deal? I was like, hitting your face with a hammer is a big deal.
Man, who is he influencing?
I think he's like one of those Tate brothers who's influencing young men.
Gosh. Okay, what about, have you seen, I got my algorithm pretty curated, so I actually don't see a lot of garbage. I mostly just see like golf gear and recipes and NBA highlights. And then like people I want to follow that I actually know in the world.
Okay.
And or like athletes that are currently competing in the state of Montana. So like my social media experience is pretty good, largely. The one guy that's infiltrated my algorithm, check out those sports, by the way, here on Nuanez Now, is this guy that his face looks like this.
Oh, the guy in the gym?
He's a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
He talks like a California bro, and he's
Yeah.
always going to get his protein shakes and stuff.
But he's like beloved.
Why? Who is he?
I don't know. I have no idea. He's not in my algorithm, but I've heard of him and like whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
The algorithm got me on that one because I've been listening to like Adam Huberman podcast and then some of the other like health related ones, and all of a sudden like the health influencers are in there, and he's one of them.
Mine is perfectly curated to just be about Bravo TV and the Real Housewives.
Oh my gosh.
But then sprinkled in with some like fart humor. Because my friend and I send each other like really funny. Like, have you ever seen on Instagram the colonoscopy farts?
Man,
it's hilarious.
Wow.
You will now because our phones are listening. But
they certainly
they're
are.
hilarious. So my friends and I send those to each other all the time.
We would be so much better off if we made social media illegal.
I agree.
All right, what do you got this week?
Well, last week we had a pretty big discussion about Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel and being caught as friends soaking in the sun in Sedona. But canoodling. But after a week of probably just pure hell, she has resigned from The Athletic.
Should we feel responsible for this?
No, the only person responsible for this are the two people that were canoodling in Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
I think I mentioned this last week briefly, but there were some people that like went back to some podcasts that she's been on and how much smack she talks about her husband. And
also how much she drools over Mike Vrabel.
I haven't seen that.
She told Ryan Russillo is one of the bigger names in podcasting. He's a Boston guy, which several of the most prominent guys are Boston guys, so that's annoying because they're always touting they talk about the Patriots and the Celtics incessantly, and those two teams are both really good, so they already get a ton of coverage, but then to have like Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo leading the charge for those guys too. Anyways, they were talking about Vrabel, and Russillo says to Rossini, he says, "Once upon a time, Diana, you gave me one of the great compliments I've ever received. You told me that I was a lot like Mike Vrabel." And she says, "Ryan, I know you're a single guy. If you could do anything in the world, be like Mike Vrabel. Tout that on your dating profiles, yada, yada, yada. Like, tell the world that you are like Vrabel." And he's like, thanks.
Wow.
But it was like she was saying that, like, Mike Vrabel is like the attractive version of a man. And like you said, that she's dunking on her husband on TV all the time.
She has said some horrific things about her husband that I am shocked he has not left her. Like, it's not nice. And here's my view of her. She thinks she is, and I don't know, I've never even heard of her until last week. So this is my professional, take on her. She thinks she's a cool girl. She is like, I hang out with guys all the time. I'm going to talk like a guy. I'm going to, dunk on my husband because it's the cool thing to do. And it makes her it's a really bad look. All this with this Vrabel stuff Now, people have dug deep. There's rumors that they've been seeing each other since 2020.
Right.
One of her children's name is Michael. Actually, I don't even know if that's true.
First of all, I don't feel bad for her husband at all because I just feel like he knows exactly what he got into, and if he had a spine, he would have just left by now, and or stood up for himself and told her to knock it off.
When she went on a podcast and said, "I did things in Miami I can't even tell my husband," but she tells a podcast the whole world.
Yeah, right.
Something's not right.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he probably knows what he got into, so I don't feel bad for him. I actually don't feel bad for anybody in this situation.
The only reason I feel bad for her is because Mike Vrabel's got his job. He didn't have to
Yeah, but
quit.
Mike Vrabel has a different level of ethics, and it's not. And the thing that the algorithm and the sensationalized media wants you to believe is because it's a man-woman thing. It's not. It's a journalism thing.
I know, yeah.
You're the journalist, so you have to enact the ethics of journalism.
Right.
The person that is the source, they don't have to have the same level of ethics that you have to have. It's just as simple as that. Like, you as the person that's trying to get information, you can't then go into a gray area to get information.
Sure.
Whereas if you're the person that's trying to give information and somebody's trying to then solicit that information from you, it's a different level of ethics.
Yeah.
I've thought about this a lot. As somebody that has been in the journalism business for a really long time, and you're trading information, and you're trading a lot of things for information, like a lot. It takes a lot of trust building. Like, there's, if you've ever wondered why we've broken so many scoops around here, it's because I'm feeling this stuff out all the time, and then when there's something that is going down, then you go and you get it. But you have to have people that will talk to you. But
We're not going to see you holding hands with Brent Vegan.
They're not going to talk to me though unless they trust me. So you have to then, but you also have to trade information.
Sure.
Like I tell people a lot of stuff that to then have them tell me stuff too. Obviously, none of this is even close to the level of salaciousness that happens in professional sports, or when you're talking about the guy that just won the AFC Championship and he's coaching the New England Patriots. It's a totally different level. But it is sort of, I don't know. It's a good reminder of the line that you do have to toe. But I was thinking about this in a lot of different examples, and again, like I said last week, we do live in a time now where it is totally fine and acceptable to be friends with someone of the opposite sex, even if you're both married, and to even be seen in public with that person, like in a professional setting.
Right.
If they seriously, I mean, I have no doubt that they are friends, regardless of if they're more than friends or not, right? If they were to go to, again, the whole story was that Vrabel was on vacation in Sedona, she's on vacation in Phoenix.
No, she was in Sedona with her friends. He was scouting in Tempe.
Sure, right. They're both in Arizona, and then they met up in Sedona.
Yeah.
Just don't do that.
Right.
Just go to dinner at a wide open place and even make it sort of like a spectacle that it is very clear that you guys are there on a professional, arranged meeting or whatever. I don't know. It's
all right. I don't want to see you and Brent Vegan swimming in a pool together in Sedona.
Me and Bobby Kennedy hanging out at the pool. I don't think so. I don't think so.
At the Grizz pool.
Well, here's the other part is like all the coaches I know, especially all the football coaches I know, they don't go on vacation. All these guys do is work. Literally all they do is work. And if they do go on vacation, they go with their family. Like Brent Vegan's vacation is going to the Little League World Series with his kids that are playing baseball or whatever, So it is. Okay, so check out those sports, ESPN Radio. Do you think that this is it for Diana Rossini?
No, I think she's going to work for...
For those that weren't following, she resigned at The Athletic.
She resigned at The Athletic on Monday or Tuesday. I think we actually in the office predicted she'll be working for Barstool.
She's going to get another job.
Yeah.
She's going to get another job for multiple reasons. One, because as she said in her letter, she is a very good reporter and she has done a lot of very good work. And I think that's a very valuable skill to have to a lot of different news organizations. So by merit and by her accomplishments, she's going to get another gig. Also, this is a salacious story that is leading the news right now in the sports world. That's also going to get her another gig.
She should go cover the WNBA and not canoodle with anyone there, but also just go stay away from the boys for a little bit, Diana, because it's just a bad look. Although, who knows? it's 2026, so that doesn't mean anything.
Would this be different if they weren't married?
Yes and no. Because from the perspective of them both being married, that's what makes me like grossed out by it. Like,
sure.
You guys are both married, that's disgusting. But from the professionalism part, she didn't have to resign because she's married. She had to resign because of all the things you said.
Exactly.
She has a level of professionalism as a journalist.
The best take on this I saw, and a lot of people were debating should morals be a part of employment, basically, was the debate that was going on Twitter. And I would say that when you're someone that has enough power in the information that you provide, like some of the top level NFL reporters, which she is one of them, you actually can influence things that happen in the league. So like last year, one of the biggest stories in the NFL was A.J. Brown being totally a malcontent in Philadelphia, and that the number one place that he was going to get traded was New England. A.J. Brown said on the record multiple times, I am not unhappy here. I like it here. I wish people would stop reporting that about this. I don't want to go to New England. But she kept reporting that A.J. Brown wants to go to New England. Well, what do the Patriots need? A great wide receiver. That is bad. That is really bad. You are driving a narrative that then other outlets are picking up, and you're causing a malcontent situation in one locker room, and you're influencing the potential trade of this guy. He did not get traded, by the way. I was
just going to ask.
He did not get traded. But what if he did? What if that level of manipulation leads to the Patriots getting one of the best players in the NFL?
And what if it has in the past, that we just don't realize? Yeah,
totally. And that's within where it brings up so many other questions, right? And this is where it's actually funny how simple-minded and dumb people are, because they've just been dunking on her for this specific situation rather than connecting the dots.
Oh, right.
What my first thought was, well, Diana Rossini has been embedded with a whole bunch of different organizations, and she has the best information when it comes to certain headlining coaches. There's no pictures of her and Sean Payton, but she knows way more about Sean Payton than anybody else. That's been a relationship that has been out in the open in terms of Sean trusting her and telling her stuff.
God, I bet Sean's having conversations with his wife.
Oh, buddy, right? I bet you his wife's when the last time did you meet up with Diana Rossini? Where were you? Mm-hmm. Where did you guys
Let me
go?
See your phone.
Did you ever go to Sedona? She's going through the credit card. Oh man. So yes, I'm sure that that's probably a pain. But then it starts to. That's the part where this gets muddy is. Then it starts to potentially delegitimize the information.
Right.
That's why for The Athletic, there's only a couple bastions of hope left when it comes to just solid nuts and bolts journalism. That's what we try to do here on Nuanez Now. But most of what it's become is influencer journalism, or not even journalism, influencer content creation,
right.
Barstool, outlandish takes, funny stuff. And there's a place for all of it, right? But if you work for one of the last bastions of hope, which The Athletic is, then they have to cut ties, and that's why this happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think she'll take some time off, probably get divorced.
Man, I bet
that
she doesn't.
Oh, I bet she does.
Really?
Yeah.
By her choice or by his choice?
His choice.
I just feel like if you've been getting dragged like this, you like it, or you just don't care.
No, him?
Yeah.
No.
You got a girl that's way out of your league, and you know it, and you just don't care. Along for the ride.
No, man. He's a high-level executive.
There's a lot of guys that are pretty simp these days.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think so. I think they'll be divorced soon. Yeah. They have 2 little kids.
Well, maybe they should go get with Mike. That's terrible. I shouldn't say that.
You think she should go get with Mike?
Well, no, that maybe I said that she could.
But he's married.
I know it.
But she may divorce. They may end up together. We don't know.
Hey.
It's probably not going to work out.
Probably not.
But if I were a coach's wife and my husband had been spending time with this particular journalist, I would be wanting to check the receipts.
Man.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Scandalous.
Scandal. All right. We'll keep it updated. It's been really fun for me.
Diana Rossini was very terse in her resignation letter. She basically said that that nothing happened, but that she was resigning because of all of the like unsolicited analysis of all of this that was going on all over the country. But
well, I mean, okay, let's say nothing happened. She still shouldn't have gone to Sedona with the guy.
That's correct.
Like,
that's correct.
It's all
correct.
inappropriate.
It's totally correct. It's absolutely correct.
Yes, but I think her son Mike might be, just interesting. She named her son Mike.
Man, well,
see, that's when I would, as the husband, be like, hold on. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
All right.
Let's talk about the Masters.
Let's do it.
Okay, so
Nuanez Now, it's not ESPN Radio. Chicken doesn't know sports.
There's so much information about the Masters this year that I don't even know where to start. But did you know that Augusta does not have like the infrastructure? They don't have nice hotels. They don't have resorts.
Correct.
So people just move out of their homes for 2 weeks.
Correct. My brother's father-in-law lives in Augusta and does this.
Rents, they can get $15K per night.
Oh yeah.
There's an Augusta.
Oh yeah, the houses are like $60,000 to $70,000 for the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we not buying a house in Augusta?
Again, Brooks's father-in-law does this. That he lives in Augusta and rents out his house.
Well, they have this Augusta rule. So if you rent your house for 14 days or less, you do not have to pay taxes on income tax on your rental.
Whoa. Okay.
So something to think about.
I mean, certainly. There's a lot of stuff that was going down at Augusta this week that was a little bit controversial. But there's one thing I learned is that you can't play Augusta during the summer months. Did you know this?
No.
People that are members can only play it in the winter.
Why?
Nobody plays it during the summer.
Because it's so hot?
I don't know.
Or is it to keep the grass
I don't know.
perfect?
They play the Masters, and then there's like a month and a half of golf there, and then nobody plays it.
Weird.
Can't play it till the fall.
Huh.
So weird, right?
My friend used to live in Augusta. I'm going to have to ask her some questions. But we have reported before that they have the cheapest concessions of any, professional sports. You can get a sandwich for $1.50 to $3. Mm-hmm. Tickets, like for a 4-day pass, if you can just get them, when you go to themasters.com and buy your tickets, right. $525. That's not bad.
But you have to win a lottery to get them.
Yes, but that's not bad. However, the resale is up to $20K.
Right.
So,
but they started bussing people. They scan it and see if you bought it yourself. If you didn't buy it first party, you get kicked out immediately.
No way.
Oh yeah, you cannot buy a second party ticket and go to the Masters anymore.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. If you win the lottery and you buy a ticket, you must be the person to go. That's it.
Okay. But so that's not too bad expense wise, but then you're paying $20,000, $60,000 a week for your housing.
Right.
So that kind of ruins it for you.
But a lot of the houses sleep like 10 to 15.
Yeah.
And there's some packages where the houses come with like chefs and food and all that sort of stuff. Like I know some guys that did this for like $7K each for a week. Which
that's not bad for vacation.
To include everything, like all your food, all your drinks, your passes to all this, because you can go to like the practice round on Tuesday, the par 3 contest on Wednesday, and then 4 days of the Masters. I don't know. It's a lot of money, but that's the way you do it. I think
if you are so into golf and whatever, like that's great. $7K, that's for that.
The problem is you have to win the lottery to get that, or you have to have an in on the people that have like the grandfather pass.
Or you have to be an influencer, apparently, because it was infiltrated with influencers this year, and people were really not happy about it. So I was reading about that par 3 contest that Jason Kelsey hosted, and Kevin Hart's out there, and they're trying to really attract younger viewers because, old people are dying, I guess. I mean, not to be rude, but you have to figure out how to get the young people.
It's a really interesting thought because the thing that has made there's several factors that have made the Masters so iconic and one of a kind for so long. It's how regal it is, and how buttoned up and fancy, and it's like the people that go to Kentucky Derby parties. It's the same thing at the Masters. It's Southern charm and getting dressed up and wearing your seersucker suit, and cocktails where you drink them with your pinky in the air and all that sort of stuff, and there's Jim Nance and like the dramatic voices and the piano music. We are rapidly approaching where people do not care about that.
Right.
Like I am about to be 39 years old, and I think I'm one of the younger people that thinks that part is cool.
Right.
Like we have people that here in the office that watch the Masters. but they don't watch it on TV. They watch the stream of the specific golfer, so they don't have to deal with any of that pageantry. And
exactly.
They just want to see the golf. And so you do have to figure out a way to sort of rebrand it, because that part might just not be as popular anymore.
Right. Well, that's the thing, though. But then when they did this, like Jason Kelsey and Kevin Hart and some of these people, people were not responding to it. They did not like it. So I don't know what the answer is. I think, for people to stream the Masters, it's because you can.
Sure.
But like if you were to watch the Masters on NBC or whatever it's airing on, CBS, that's where you would be watching it, because that's the only place. So I don't know what the answer is. Maybe they have to stop the live stream, or I don't really know. But apparently a lot of the influencer females got hazed because they were not dressed appropriately. So that was good, because I think there is a way, when you go to an event like this, you need to dress the way you're supposed to dress. That's just like, I would never go to the Masters because golf is boring. And I'm not going to sit in and sweat my butt off to watch golf.
Yes.
It's just not my thing. But I would go see like tennis, and I would be appropriate. There's tennis etiquette,
What do you think of the no phones thing?
I love it. In fact, I saw this really great, I don't know if it was ESPN or Sports Illustrated, and it showed everybody watching the Masters, everyone, and then they showed different like NBA, hockey, whatever, and everyone's just got their phones out, and it's like, what are we doing?
It's crazy.
Like, why
the NBA is the thing that pisses me off the most, because the tickets for NBA playoff games, especially like in LA and San Francisco, are like $10,000.
Yeah, and you're just watching it through your phone.
Sometimes the people will be like this, which is annoying enough. Other times they're not even videoing it; they're literally just on their phones.
Well, because they're posting a picture of themselves at the NBA
or
finals.
They're literally not even paying attention because they're so privileged they can spend $10,000 on a ticket and not even watch the game.
Yeah, this is. I do wonder if this stuff is going to change, because
this is the Bill Simmons thing. He says they should sell the most expensive tickets 5 rows behind the bench. They should fill the first 4 rows with all the craziest fans.
Yes.
Like, just find the drunkest, most into it people and put those people in the front.
Yeah.
And let them be the ones that yell at all the players and just go nuts. That would be fun.
I agree. I was watching this show called Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and this lady was getting engaged on it, and her entire family it was being filmed for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Sure.
Her entire family had their phones out filming it, and I'm like, why are you all filming it? It's being filmed, and also she's getting engaged. Like, where are we in this earth? That we're... Even I was watching Nick's track meet yesterday, and he always wants me to video it, but then I can't really watch it.
Right.
And so I was like, no, I'm not videoing it today. I want to experience
I think about
the Masters.
I think about this at concerts all the time.
Yes.
How often do you take a concert video, but then do you ever watch it back?
No.
And when you send it to other people, they're like, cool.
Right.
Like, you're at a concert. It sounds terrible on your phone.
It's like when people do the 4th of July fireworks. I'm like, I don't want to see your 4th of July fireworks or your full moon pictures or your Northern Lights pictures. Please stop.
Right. Oh, man.
I'm glad we got that out.
Chicken Doesn't Know Sports, probably presented by Freedom Energy Solutions. Appreciate them for their continued support of what we got going on here.
Electrical problems can slow everything down. Freedom Solutions Electrical Services keeps your home and business running safely and efficiently. Their licensed electricians handle panel upgrades, lighting, troubleshooting, and new construction. I need my readers.
It's okay. This is how you know it's live.
They show up on time, communicate clearly, and deliver quality work you can trust. Whether it's a small repair or a major project, Freedom Solutions is your local electrical partner. Visit gofreedomsolutions.com and find out more.
Appreciate Freedom Solutions for being a part of Chicken Doesn't Know Sports. All right, what else you got?
Okay, I have a last story, and we all need to stay on top of this, and we all need to we need to email the Detroit Lions. Okay, Eastern Michigan University football player stood outside the Lions
this is great.
Practice facility begging to walk on.
Only about 10% of the time I actually know I know the story she's going to tell. He stood outside. Okay, keep going. He stood outside.
He stood outside with a sign with all his stats.
Yep.
He did play arena football for a couple years or a year. He was the arena football player of the year, defensive player of the year.
Right.
And he just wants a shot. He's from Michigan. He walked on to Eastern Michigan University, got a full scholarship. This kid's got grit and I want to see him succeed. And if nothing else, they need to just put him on the roster for goodwill.
Sure.
Because this is one of those stories that I think would just... Where's Eminem when we need him? You know what I mean? I think he could really... I'm going to tag him. I think he could really help.
Yeah.
So...
There's an outside shot just because the guy does have film. The NFL rosters this time of year, they doubled it so they can bring 93 in. They're going to whittle that down to 53 by the time the season starts. But there's 40 extra spots to sort of be in. So like there's and you can bring a guy in and you can sign him, cut him, whatever, all the time. There's no guaranteed contracts.
Yeah,
for
he
a
just
lot
wants
of
a
these
chance.
guys. So,
just let me try.
Yeah, let him try.
I love it. I think that's great. It reminds me of when I graduated college and I bought a book called How to Get a Job in Advertising. And one of the things it told me to do was have a pizza delivered to an ad agency with my resume on it.
Wow, pretty good.
I didn't do that. But
best idea, but she didn't use it.
I was like, this isn't going to work. So I didn't do it. Hey, look at me now.
Look at you now.
I'm in advertising.
World-class ad aficionado.
That's right. But we need to keep our eye out for this. We need to make sure the Lions let this guy walk on.
What's his name?
I don't know. Just Google Eastern Michigan University football player, Detroit Lions, and he'll pop right up. He's Googling now, folks.
I'm Googling. You can hear it. Tap, 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 tap.
Always hear you tap, tap, tap.
Freddie McGee III.
How could I forget that name? Freddie McGee III. We got your
Freddie
back.
McGee. Well, the fact he played at Eastern Michigan, which is D1 school, and the fact that he has professional credentials, gives him a little bit more of a shot.
And
like
he's gone
if this was
viral.
like me or like Jeff or something like this,
or me,
it's not going to happen, right?
Right?
But the fact that the guy is still young and has been playing football and has pro experience, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing: you will know right away. Like if they bring him in, he'll be able to fit in or just get cooked immediately.
Even if it doesn't work out, I love this. Like he is going to be somebody.
Yes.
I don't know what his other goals were, what his major was. He is going to be someone. Get him in sales. I don't know. I love Freddie McGee. He's my new best friend.
No agent, 14 interceptions, 25 PBUs, defensive player of the year in the AFL. Need one shot. That's what his sign says as he's standing outside.
Just one shot. See, where is Eminem?
Well, I could say something conspiracy theory related, but I won't.
No.
Chicken Doesn't Know Sports here on ESPN Radio. Anything else?
That's all I got today.
Very nice. Thank you so much for swinging by, and thanks for joining us early again this week. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled Chicken Doesn't Know Sports next week on Friday. But in the meantime, thanks for doing it. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.
Nuanez Now on tonight ESPN Radio. We'll keep on rolling. Come back. We'll hear from the UM rugby team. They are headed to nationals for the first time in a long time. Jeff Safford is on the scene. He's on the scoop. He's got it for us. That's next. Don't change that down. Keep it right here. 129 ESPN Radio.
What do you expect me to say to her? She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John.
At Shields, we're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there. We're experts that put products and gear to the test, so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on, because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
rare moments in life, they're not just few and far between. They're meant to be treasured.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Former Montana Gatorade Player of the Year, Brianna Williams, is going to the Cats. The Arizona Wildcats, that is. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Williams, who etched out one of the great resumes in Montana girls prep basketball history by leading Billings Skyview to their first 2 ever Class AA state championships, has spent the last 2 seasons at the University of Maryland. The former top 50 ranked recruit in the nation entered the NCAA transfer portal earlier this month because of her ties to the Magic City and the fact that she played on a national championship AAU team with other girls from around Montana. Many wondered if Williams might return to the Treasure State to play at Montana State or Montana. While the Lady Grizz and the Bobcats did recruit Williams hard, she ended up choosing Arizona. She announced her decision on her personal Instagram on Tuesday. Last season at Maryland, the 6'2" forward averaged 4.7 points and 2.8 rebounds per game while shooting 48.6% from the floor in 10.5 minutes per contest across 24 games. Williams joins an Arizona team that finished 12-18 last year, including a 3-15 record in Big 12 play to tie for 14th in the conference. During her prep days, Williams scored 1,645 points and ripped out 879 rebounds, leading Skyview to state titles as a sophomore and a senior, and earning Montana Gatorade Player of the Year twice in the process. The transfer portal for Division I women's basketball opened on Monday, April 6th and goes through Monday, April 20th.
It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Well, I guess you could say today, a Thursday, recording this on a Wednesday afternoon, hearing it here on a Thursday edition of Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio Missoula. Also, the ESPN MT app, SWX Montana TV, a day for contact sports. We're talking a lot of hockey in hour number 1. Now moving to the college rugby ranks. The University of Montana Sevens rugby team, in their first year of a reboot of the program, they have seen a heck of a lot of success. Congratulations, they are heading to the National Championship Tournament, taking place in Maryland. And with us right now, the head coach, David Kinkle, and one of the players, a Missoula native, a former Sentinel Spartan as well, Aiden Schrader, with us here in studio. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you
Thanks
for having us. Yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome stuff to be able to get to the national championship tournament in the first year of a reboot of a program. Definitely a big accomplishment. But, Coach, maybe walk us through where you've been able to get to this point and some of the challenges that you faced to get your team here.
Well, Club Sports got a hold of me at the end of last spring and asked me if they wanted to try to reboot the rugby program, bring it back to the campus. Myself and another coach, Lance Haverland, decided to take that challenge on. The university's been very helpful. We began just trying to get players, get enough guys, so forth. We started last September. We have a very interesting mix of freshmen like Aiden with a few experienced players that joined the team from other programs. And we were able to go undefeated in our 15s fall conference, and then made it to the Sweet 16 and lost in a really close match by 1 point. And we've just kind of taken that momentum into the sevens season. We've played in 4 different tournaments. We've had good success, and the team is gelling pretty good.
Now, you've mentioned sevens and 15s, 2 different iterations of the game of rugby. For green hands like myself, maybe talk about a little bit of the differences between sevens and 15s in the game and the way it's played.
Well, 15s is kind of more of a war of attrition, 40-minute halves, 10-minute break, 15 people on the field. Sevens is a speed game. Kind of anything can happen. You get a couple bad calls, the better team may not win. So you got to stay focused. It's 7-minute halves, 1-minute intermission, same size field. So a lot more pace with the game.
And your coach mentioned it, Aiden Schrader, you Missoula Sentinel Spartan, a freshman. Is it cool for you to be able to be a part of this first season of the program, knowing that you'll really be able to build the culture of this program going forward throughout the rest of your career?
Yeah, I mean, I was already planning on coming to the U, and I wasn't aware that the rugby team was booted back up, so it was a big surprise. And I was actually happy to see that it got it going again, and I'm so happy that I have another chance to continue playing rugby.
Player Aiden Schrader, along with the head coach of the Montana men's rugby team, Dave Kinkle, with us here on ESPN Missoula. The sevens iteration of the Montana Grizzly rugby team are headed to the national championship tournament in Maryland for the first time in the reboot of the program. Now, what is the process to be able to get to the national tournament in this level of college rugby? I see it with different teams I cover at the University of Montana, thinking about Grizz hockey or Grizz lacrosse going into postseason tournaments. The format is always a little bit different with these different sports.
Yeah, so this is the way they have it. There's 16 teams that'll be in our championship. There's actually 144 teams altogether that go to Maryland. It's, I think, the biggest college rugby tournament, actually, they call it, in the world.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it's a big event. We had there's 8 automatic qualifiers. We played in one of those down in California. We finished 2nd out of 10 teams. And just kind of by our efforts in the other tournaments, we were awarded one of the 8 at-large bids that go along with the 8 actually automatic qualifiers. So that's how we got there.
Now, Aiden, thinking of your specific position, it's described, as you said it off mic, as a scrum half. What the heck does that mean?
He's basically the quarterback of the team in football terms. He makes sure the ball gets out. He makes sure that plays are being ran. He makes sure that he scans the field and kind of sees the defense and what we can do against that.
Now, you know you'll be headed to the national tournament. Definitely that is a thing to be proud of. But is it interesting now thinking about the challenge that goes along with going to a national tournament, all the logistics of planning hotels, team meals, getting to and from the airport, flying across the country? Has it been fun trying to put all this together?
I wouldn't say fun is the word.
Maybe type 2 fun.
Yeah, I was just out in the parking lot talking about hotels. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of logistics that you might not even think about besides hotels and food and flying. But we've fortunately had some pretty good sponsorship from some of the local businesses and some of the parents. So we're obviously need money. We're a young program, so any little bit helps for sure. Yeah, it's a challenge, but we're up to the task.
David Kinkle, the head coach of the Montana Grizzlies Sevens rugby team, along with Aiden Schrader, with us here on 102.9 ESPN Radio. And if folks want to help out with your run to the national tournament, maybe with a financial donation, what have you, how do they do that?
If folks want to help out with our funding, they can find a fundraiser on our Instagram page at Grizz Rugby. It's in the bio. Any little donation helps. Another thing that's happening on April 20th at Mar-Bar is at 5 and through the evening, all 20% of proceeds will go to our team. So if you want to help donate and have fun, go there.
Sounds like a good plan to me. And specifically, when are the dates of this rugby tournament?
So we play on Friday the 24th. It's like win, you go, you continue, lose, you're out, kind of like the NCAA tournament, but it's all compact into 2 days. So there'll be 16 teams there. We'll be seated whatever number we are. We have 2 matches on Friday for sure. You play 4 matches no matter what. You play out to whatever place you get, but it'd be 2 games on Friday, 2 matches on Saturday.
Do you have any idea of where some of the other teams may sit in the bracket, or is some of that still to be decided with games to come?
On Saturday, they NCR, which is the national governing body, has like a selection Saturday. So we'll find out on Saturday where we're seated.
Sounds similar to what the format is with lacrosse, thinking about the MCLA, where there is a selection committee that chooses the 16-team field, same with rugby as well.
Yes.
Seeing how they will be able to potentially make a run towards a national championship. You alluded to a lot of things, thinking about things that have been positive, building it up with Grizz Rugby this season on campus. Also, the city of Missoula. How has this community that really is a big rugby town helped this team out?
You want to talk about that, Aiden, or you want me to?
You can for now, and then I'll jump in if I have something.
Yeah. As you mentioned, Missoula is a great rugby town. Between the high school, which has a tremendous presence, I think 70 or so, girls and boys playing in that. The Missoula Maggots have obviously been here a long time, so they have just been helpful. The high school kids have been coming over and helping add numbers to practice, to put some different kind of things together, situational stuff. The Maggots have also been helpful. We scrimmaged them early in the fall before we actually played our first conference match, and they've been helpful on the financial side as well, gave us some donations. And the high school team, like I said, we're very hopeful that we will continue bringing guys like Aiden into the program from the Missoula high school team.
Well, David Kinkle, the head coach, and Aiden Schrader, a player with the Montana Grizzly rugby team, getting ready for a run at the national championship tournament. What are some of your biggest goals going into this tournament, and what are you looking forward to just from the overall experience?
Some goals I think the team has is obviously to just go out there and show out for University of Montana, get our name out there. It's definitely a big event that we need to step up for. Do you have anything to add?
Our goals are to play to the best of our ability, right? We're training hard. We are using the M, which is also a great little tool we have there to, besides practice, we're doing fitness on the M as well. You get to these events, you really just want to calm down and play the best to your ability. And then also enjoy the event itself and not make the event too big, so to speak.
Well, running up a switchback trail to the M, that sounds like a tough workout. Don't sign me up for that. But Grizz Rugby hopefully will see some success in Maryland in the coming weeks. Making it to the national championship tournament, Dave Kinkle, the head coach, and Aiden Schrader, a player from Grizz Rugby. Again, if you want to support Grizz Rugby and their run to the national tournament, check out their Instagram page. They have information on how to donate and help out. In their bio, also check out an event in the coming days over at the Mar Bar. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us. Really appreciate it.
We will roll on with more on Nuanez Now after this, ESPN Missoula.
Well, thank you very much to Jeff Safford and Montana Grizzlies rugby head coach David Henkel and Missoula product Aiden Schrader to sit down with us to talk about what has certainly been a very successful first season for the program, resulting in a bid to the national tournament in Maryland. Certainly one of many club programs having great success at the University of Montana at this moment. We'll be back on the other side to take you home. You're listening to Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Dr. Tim here from Montana Imaging Center. Health.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky Country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. UM launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Why would any business let you use their product and give you 365 days of reassurance? Mattress Firm does because they believe in their mattresses. Save on top brands like Nectar, Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest, Serta, Stearns & Foster, and others. Mattress Firm carries $149 mattresses all the way up to the luxury Purple Rejuvenate Premier. 0% in payments as low as $39 a month, along with 365 days of reassurance. See why Mattress Firm is Montana's best place to find the sleep you deserve.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
The football in-state recruiting battle stayed raging the first half of April as the Grizz landed the top prospect in Montana, but the Bobcats swung back with three talented players in the trenches. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Montana received a verbal commitment from Drew Olmquist on April 3rd, marking the sixth commit to new head coach Bobby Kennedy and the fifth from in-state. Olmquist is the highest-rated recruit in Montana. The three-star receiver from Helena Capital has sub-11 second speed in the 100 meters and chose Montana over offers from Montana State and Oregon State, along with interest from Boise State and Nebraska. Montana State swung back last week, landing commitments from Shoto athlete Dax Yeager, a 6'5", 235-pound tight end and defensive lineman, the same day that Almquist committed. Then Sunday, Leighton Erickson pledged to MSU. He's a 6'4", 210-pound tight end from Seiko who plays his high school ball at Malta. That same day, MSU head coach Brent Vigen also earned a commitment from Cade Liebrand, a 6'4", 250-pound offensive and defensive lineman from Laurel, who's a multiple-time All-State selection and widely considered the top O-line prospect in the state. Almquist scored 14 touchdowns as a sophomore on Helena Capital's 2024 state championship team, but missed all but 2 games last season. He's believed to be the highest-ranked recruit to commit to UM in 10 years, a reputation fueled by him running at 10.9 seconds in the 100 meters as a sophomore. For more on in-state football recruiting, tune into Nuanez Now every weekday on 102.9 ESPN MT.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome in Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. We are just about out of time here. I just want to thank you all for hanging out with us on a Thursday afternoon. Just a quick reminder, we will have no show on Friday, so this will be it for the week, but still a great show. Got to hear a lot about some NHL hockey with the playoffs starting on Saturday. We got to hear from Carolyn that Chuka doesn't know sports, and we got some Grizz rugby with head coach Dave Kenkel and Aiden Schrader. Once again, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. That'll be all. You're listening to Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio.
No matter what you can imagine, no matter what you can possibly dream, no matter what your heart desires, Jewelry Design Center can make it for you.
We have this emotional attachment. The reasons that we wear these things, these are celebrations.